Hey guys, Mika here, and do I have a special treat for those of you who are huge fans of kamakas, custom kamakas, vintage older kamakas. Um, it feels weird saying this out loud. I want to call this a tenor, but don't let it deceive you. This is a concert size, but when you listen to the sound sample, maybe close your eyes and you might be like, oh, Mika, it's onto something. It sounds like a tenor size. This instrument is phenomenal. It's so opened up. It's so resonant. There's so much like just in my little bubble when I play, like it just fills my bubble and it even goes into the room. Like it's such a big sound for a concert, but it's almost like a tenor sound. But this is a custom, early 2000s, around 2000, custom concert size Kamaka ukulele. Some pretty rare adornments or just like the aesthetics of this. There's some pretty rare stuff on this instrument. So let's jump right into it. First of all, I guess nowadays, we're used to seeing semi-customs or the customs, like from the artist or like the Jake Blue or stuff like that where, we'll see kamakas with all of this abalone shell around the front, around the rosette. It's pretty common nowadays, but there was a time even when I was growing up, which is not too long ago, when this was super rare, even when I was growing up. Now, this ukulele goes back even further to the early 2000s where you just never will see something like this. You're never going to see this kind of abalone shell unless you know them personally or you're someone special or just it's a very rare special case, but you just couldn't get this kind of ukulele back then. That's one of the first things. Another thing too that I just learned is that this is an ebony fretboard and ebony bridge. Now you might be thinking, but all ukuleles are made with that. It's so common nowadays. But again, if we go back, to the early 2000s, Kamaka used rosewood for their fretboards and their bridges. So you couldn't request ebony. Like it's just almost literally impossible. So the fact that there's an ebony on this, it makes it really special. Nowadays Kamaka uses ebony. They switched over, but back then it was just like you can't make those kind of special requests. So this again is another one of those rarer things. You have a rosewood binding here on the top, not on the back, but just the top, that wraps around the instrument. But take a look at this curly coil, and again, this channel is known for showing some of the craziest curly coil instruments that you're going to see out there. So maybe for those of us who watch this all the time or see all of them, it looks pretty normal. I guess for something like this channel, what kind of pops up on here. But again, if we rewind and go back 20 something years in the past and we think about this is really nice curly coil. And for Kamaka too, look at that nice big curls that goes all the way top to bottom of the depth. The back is really nice, really curly. This is very premium stuff with Kamaka ukuleles. You just do not see these kind of things dated during this time period. So this is a pretty special ukulele. And another thing that sticks out to me, and I just know this because this is just by experience, my first nice ukulele that I've ever owned, and I was so happy, and I still have it to this day, was a concert size HF2, and it has this sail-like headstock. But what makes this ukulele special is that the tuners are on the side, versus for those of you who have an older Kamaka, you'll know that those back then had the gear tuners that stick out in the back of the instrument, versus these stick out to the side as if you were buying a tenor size ukulele or a baritone size ukulele. But if you were to buy a soprano or a concert, you're going to get those tuners that stick out, those bigger white tuners, or the kind of like that ivoroid kind of like tuners, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So seeing this is pretty rare as well. It almost kind of makes me feel like, wow, this is a really cool concert. It looks really nice with the tuners out to the side. Again, kind of repeating myself, we're kind of take it for granted nowadays, like, oh, concert ukuleles, they build it to the side. I know that's nothing new, but go back in the past, again, trying to put ourselves in the shoes of 20 something years ago. It's like, wow, to get something like this in like 2000, 2001, like that's pretty phenomenal for our Kamaka. So wonderful stuff here. And then now getting into the prized possession, outside of this just being a Kamaka, when I strum the C chord, hopefully the microphones can pick up just how there's so much matureness in the sound. Matureness meaning there's a lot of depth, there's a lot, like the sound spectrum is opened up more, there's just more of that tonal kind of sound range that you're gonna get. Like usually concerts are gonna excel more in the mid range. It's gonna not be have as much depth, have much low ends. It's gonna be very bright. But with this instrument, it's kind of defying that kind of logic of like, oh, it's a concert, it's gonna not sound as big as a tenor. But then when I strum it, it's just like you just get hit with a wall of sound. And it's not just loud to be loud, it's loud with really nice tone. It's that classic Kamaka, very warm traditional sound. It just has that iconic Kamaka warmer kind of sound. But couple that with a very big sound, you close your eyes, just like, oh yeah, that's a nice tenor with a low G, and then you're like, oh wow, like really big sound. So it's beautiful stuff. I mean, playability on this is amazing. The sound, that's how loud that is, but so warm and captivating and sweet. Just beautiful stuff. So here's a sound sample for this wonderful instrument. So I tried to play one of Herbalta Jr.'s legendary ukulele player, friend of mine, his version of Leilani, which it captures such that that Hawaiian feel, and I wanted to go ahead and play that on this. It sounds really nice. So now if I go ahead into